You feel it, don't you? That quiet knowing that settles in your chest when you least expect it. The certainty that blooms in the space between your heartbeats. He's running. You can feel the distance like a physical thing, like a cord pulled taut between you, humming with tension. And yet, something inside you knows. Something whispers that this running has an expiration date. That no matter how far he goes, no matter how many walls he builds, no matter how convincingly he tells himself he's moved on, there's a force at work that he cannot outrun forever. You felt it in those moments when the synchronicities pile up so thick you can barely breathe. You've sensed it in the dreams that feel more real than waking. You've known it in the way his energy still finds you across whatever distance he's created. This isn't wishful thinking. This isn't you clinging to false hope. This is your soul recognizing a truth that exists beyond the realm of human will and ego defense. The twin flame runner cannot run forever. And deep in the quiet of your own knowing, you already understand why. But let's go deeper. Because understanding this truth intellectually is one thing. Feeling it in your bones, trusting it when the silence stretches long and lonely, embodying it when every logical part of you screams that you should just give up and move on. That's the real work. That's where the transformation lives. You've been in this space before, haven't you? The space where you wonder if you're delusional. The space where you question whether this connection is even real, or if you've constructed an entire fantasy around someone who simply doesn't want you. And then something happens. A sign, a dream, an energetic pull so strong it nearly knocks you sideways, and you remember. You remember that this is not a connection governed by the usual rules. This is not a relationship that follows the predictable patterns of attraction and compatibility. This is something else entirely. Something ancient. Something that operates on frequencies most people never access in their entire lives. And the runner, your runner, he's caught in a force he doesn't fully comprehend. He thinks he's choosing to run. He believes he's making a conscious decision to protect himself, to avoid pain, to maintain control. But what he doesn't yet realize is that the very thing he's running from is the thing that will ultimately bring him home. If you felt this deep knowing that his running has an end point, I want you to know you're not alone in this awareness. Drop a comment below and share where you are in your journey right now, or simply type "I trust divine timing" to claim this energy. And if these messages speak to your soul, subscribe so you never miss the guidance that's meant for you. Let's talk about what's really happening here. Because when we speak about the twin flame runner, we're not talking about someone who simply got scared and left. We're not discussing a typical commitment phobe or someone who just wasn't that into you. The twin flame runner is engaged in something far more complex, far more spiritually significant. He's running from a mirror. He's running from recognition. He's running from the most profound confrontation with self that a soul can experience in human form. And here's what you need to understand. The running is not about you. It never was. You could be perfect. You could say all the right things, do all the right things, become the most healed version of yourself, and he would still run. Because the running is about what you represent. You are the living, breathing embodiment of everything he's spent his entire life avoiding. Every wound he's buried, every part of himself he's rejected, every vulnerability he's armored against, every dream he's given up on, every truth he's denied. You walk into his life, and suddenly all of it is right there, reflected back at him with an intensity that feels unbearable. Have you noticed how the connection seemed to terrify him most when it was at its most beautiful? How he pulled away precisely when things were deepening, when real intimacy was becoming possible? This is not coincidence. This is the mechanism of the runner dynamic. The closer he gets to the truth of the connection, the closer he gets to the truth of himself. And for someone who has built an entire identity on control, on performance, on maintaining a carefully constructed version of himself that feels safe, this is existentially threatening. The twin flame connection doesn't allow for masks. It doesn't permit half-truths or emotional hiding. It demands full presence, full vulnerability, full authenticity. And for the runner, this demand feels like annihilation. It feels like death, because in a very real sense it is. It's the death of the false self, the death of the protective mechanisms, the death of the story he's been telling himself about who he is and what he's capable of feeling. So he runs into distractions. He runs into other relationships that feel safer because they don't touch the depths. He runs into work, into addictions, into anything that creates distance from the feeling. He tells himself he's being practical. He convinces himself he's making the mature choice. He constructs elaborate justifications for why this connection isn't right, isn't real, isn't possible. And on the surface, it might look like he's succeeding. It might appear that he's genuinely moved on, that he's happy, that he's forgotten. But here's the truth that your soul already knows. The running creates its own kind of hell, because you cannot run from your own soul. You cannot outpace your own truth. You cannot hide from a connection that exists at the level of frequency, of energy, of divine orchestration. Let me tell you what's happening inside him, even as he runs, especially as he runs. There's a part of him, a deep part that exists beneath all the fear and conditioning, that knows exactly what he's running from. And that part never stops calling him back. It speaks to him in the quiet moments. It haunts him in dreams. It shows up in every other connection that feels hollow by comparison. He tries to replicate what you had with someone else, and it falls flat. He tries to convince himself he's content, and the emptiness echoes louder. He tries to forget, and the universe sends him reminders. Your name comes up in conversation. He hears your song. He sees your numbers. He feels your energy in ways that defy logic. And each time, something in him cracks a little more. The armor weakens. The resistance softens. The truth seeps through. This is why the runner cannot run forever, because the twin flame connection is not maintained by proximity or communication or relationship status. It's maintained by an energetic bond that exists independent of physical reality. You could never speak to him again, and the connection would still be alive. You could be on opposite sides of the world, and he would still feel you. This is what makes it so maddening for him. He wants to believe that distance equals disconnection. He wants to think that if he just stays away long enough, the feeling will fade. But it doesn't fade. If anything, it intensifies, because the separation is not creating distance from you. It's creating distance from himself, and that distance becomes increasingly unbearable. There comes a point, and this is the sacred truth that the universe holds, when the pain of running exceeds the fear of surrender, when the emptiness of the false life becomes more terrifying than the vulnerability of the real one, when the exhaustion of maintaining the walls takes more energy than it would to let them fall. This is the turning point. This is when the runner begins to stop. Not because you've done anything to make him stop, not because you've chased or convinced or proven anything, but because his own soul has reached a threshold, because the internal pressure of living in misalignment with his deepest truth becomes too great to sustain. And here's where your journey becomes crucial. Because while all of this is happening inside him, you have your own path to walk. You have your own transformation to undergo. And this is where so many divine feminines get stuck. They understand intellectually that he's running from himself, not from them. They grasp the spiritual dynamics at play, but they remain energetically entangled in his journey. They stay focused on his healing, his awakening, his timeline. They wait. They watch for signs of his return. They keep themselves in a holding pattern, life suspended, heart on pause, waiting for him to be ready. And this, beautiful soul, this is where your power is being leaked. Because here's what needs to happen for the runner to truly stop running. He needs to feel a shift in the field. He needs to sense that the dynamic has changed. And that shift doesn't come from you chasing harder or loving louder or proving the connection. It comes from you stepping fully into your own sovereignty. It comes from you choosing yourself with the same intensity you once chose him. It comes from you embodying the frequency of union within yourself, rather than seeking it outside yourself. This is the great paradox of the twin flame journey. The moment you stop waiting for him is the moment he begins to feel the pull home. The moment you stop making him the center of your universe is the moment the universe begins to reorganize around your truth. Let's talk about what this actually looks like. Because sovereignty is not about pretending you don't care. It's not about playing games or using silence as a manipulation tactic. It's not about forcing yourself to move on or date other people or perform some version of being over it. True sovereignty is a frequency. It's an energetic state. It's the deep, cellular knowing that you are whole exactly as you are, that your worth is not determined by his recognition of it, that your journey is sacred whether or not he ever shows up. That union with him would be beautiful, but union with yourself is essential, and that you will not abandon yourself again, not even for a love that feels this destined. When you embody this, everything shifts, not because you're doing it to make something happen, but because you're finally aligned with your truth. And that alignment sends ripples through the entire energetic field of the connection. He feels it. He might not understand it consciously. He might not be able to articulate what's changed. But at a soul level, he registers that you're no longer available in the same way. Not because you've closed your heart, but because you've opened it fully to yourself first. And this is what begins to dissolve his resistance, because the thing he was most afraid of, the thing that made him run, was the intensity of the need, the weight of your expectation, the pressure of being your salvation, your completion, your everything. And when you release that, when you stop needing him to validate the connection or prove its worth or make you whole, he can finally breathe. He can finally feel the truth of the connection without the suffocating weight of codependency. This is when the runner begins to awaken, not in a sudden, dramatic way necessarily. Often, it's gradual, it's subtle, it's a slow thawing of the frozen places. He starts to question the life he's built in your absence. He starts to feel the hollowness of the distractions he's used to fill the void. He starts to remember moments with you that he'd tried to forget. He starts to feel his own heart again, perhaps for the first time in his life, and it's terrifying. It's uncomfortable. It requires him to face everything he's been running from, the inadequacy, the unworthiness, the fear that he's not capable of the kind of love you represent, the belief that he'll fail, that he'll hurt you, that he's fundamentally broken. But something has shifted in him. The running has lost its power. The walls that once felt protective now feel like a prison. And slowly, often painfully, he begins to do his own work. He begins to look at the wounds. He begins to feel the feelings he's spent a lifetime avoiding. He begins to understand that the connection with you was never the threat. The threat was always his own unlived life, his own unexpressed truth, his own rejected self. And you were simply the catalyst that brought all of it to the surface. This is the masculine's awakening, and it cannot be rushed. It cannot be forced. It unfolds in divine timing, in the exact way his soul needs it to unfold. Now, let's address the question that's probably burning in your heart. How long does this take? When will he stop running? When will he be ready? And beloved, I wish I could give you a timeline. I wish I could tell you that it's 3 months or 6 months or a year. But the truth is, there is no universal timeline. Every soul's journey is unique. Every runner's awakening unfolds according to their own divine blueprint. Some runners return within weeks. Some take years. Some require an entire dark night of the soul before they're ready to face the light. And this is why your focus cannot be on his timeline. Your focus must be on your own journey, your own healing, your own becoming. Because here's another truth that might be hard to hear. His return is not the goal. Union is not the finish line. The real purpose of this connection, the real gift, is who you become in the process. It's the way you learn to love yourself. It's the way you reclaim your power. It's the way you remember your divinity. It's the way you stop abandoning yourself for anyone, even a love that feels written in the stars. The twin flame journey is not about getting the person. It's about becoming the person. It's about ascending to a frequency where love is not something you seek outside yourself, but something you embody so fully that it radiates from every cell. And when you reach that place, one of two things happens. Either he shows up, having done his own work, ready to meet you as an equal, ready to build something real from a place of wholeness rather than woundedness. Or you realize that you no longer need him to show up, that you're so complete within yourself, so fulfilled by your own life, so aligned with your purpose, that his presence or absence no longer determines your peace. And paradoxically, both of these outcomes are union, because union is not about being with a specific person. Union is about the integration of the divine masculine and feminine within yourself. It's about the marriage of your own inner energies. And whether that union manifests in physical partnership or not, you are whole. But let's be honest. You want to know if he's coming back. You want to know if this story has the ending your heart hopes for. And while I cannot promise you a specific outcome, I can tell you this. If this is a true twin flame connection, if this is a soul contract that involves physical union in this lifetime, then yes, he will return. Not because you waited, not because you did everything right, but because his soul will not let him rest until he faces what you represent. The universe will continue to orchestrate circumstances that bring him back to the truth. The divine will continue to work on him, in him, through him, until the resistance crumbles and the heart opens. And you'll know when it's real. You'll know when he's truly stopped running, because it won't be a tentative reaching out. It won't be a half-hearted attempt to see if you're still available. It will be a man who has faced himself, who has done the work, who has earned the right to stand in your presence again. It will be a masculine energy that has matured, that has integrated the lessons, that has transformed the wounds into wisdom. He will show up differently. He will communicate differently. He will love differently, because he will have remembered who he is beneath all the fear and conditioning. And he will recognize you, truly recognize you, as the mirror that helped him find himself. Until then, your work is clear. Your work is to stop running from yourself, to stop abandoning your own needs, your own dreams, your own life in service of a connection that may or may not manifest in the way you hope. Your work is to build a life so beautiful, so full, so aligned with your truth that his return becomes a bonus rather than a necessity. Your work is to love yourself with the fierce devotion you've been directing toward him, to show up for yourself with the consistency you've been hoping he'll show up for you, to choose yourself again and again until that choice becomes as natural as breathing. This is the path of the divine feminine, not passive waiting, where you sit by the window watching for signs of his return like a forgotten relic of devotion. Not desperate hoping, where every notification sends your heart racing. Every synchronicity becomes a promise you cling to with trembling hands, but active, embodied sovereignty, a living, breathing reclamation of your power. You become the temple, not just the doorway through which love might one day pass. You become the sacred space itself, the holy ground where transformation happens, where divine energy flows and circulates and creates miracles. You hold the frequency, not just the longing that exhausts you and drains your life force. You become the tuning fork of divine love, resonating at a pitch so pure, so clear, so unwavering that everything around you begins to harmonize with your vibration. You embody union, not just the desire for it that keeps you perpetually hungry, perpetually reaching, perpetually incomplete. You become the living demonstration of what union actually is, the integration of your own masculine and feminine, the marriage of your human self and your divine self, the coming home to all the fragmented parts of you that have been waiting for your attention. And from that place, from that centered, grounded, fully inhabited place, you become magnetic in a way that transcends the physical. You become a force that moves through rooms, that shifts energy, that changes the temperature of every space you enter. You become a frequency that broadcasts across dimensions, that speaks to souls, that communicates truths that the conscious mind cannot articulate. You become the invitation that his soul cannot refuse, not because you're manipulating or strategizing or trying to lure him back with spiritual tactics disguised as healing, but because you're finally fully home in yourself. And that homecoming, that profound return to your own essence, calls to him at a level deeper than words, deeper than logic, deeper than fear, deeper than every defense mechanism he's constructed, deeper than every wound that tells him to run. Let me paint you a picture of what happens energetically when you make this shift. When you stop betraying yourself by making him more important than your own soul's journey. When you stop waiting and start living, truly living, with presence and purpose and passion that isn't contingent on his choices. When you stop chasing and start embodying, when you cease the exhausting pursuit and instead become so full, so radiant, so complete that chasing becomes irrelevant, even absurd. When you stop making him the source of your happiness, your validation, your sense of purpose, your reason for existing, and start recognizing yourself as the wellspring, the origin point, the fountain from which all good things flow into your life. The entire field of the connection reorganizes itself in response to this shift. The energetic architecture of your dynamic undergoes a complete restructuring. It's like you've been pulling on a rope with all your strength, muscles straining, hands burning, trying desperately to drag him toward you across a distance he keeps creating. And suddenly, you drop your end. You simply let go. You release your grip. You stop the exhausting effort. And in that release, in that radical letting go, he feels the full weight of his own resistance for perhaps the first time. Without your energy to push against, without your pursuit to run from, he comes face to face with his own truth. He feels the emptiness of the space where your energy used to be, where your constant attention once lived, where your hope and longing and focus created a kind of energetic cushion that paradoxically made it easier for him to avoid himself. He feels the absence of your focus, your attention, your hope, your prayers, your tears, your constant energetic check-ins that he could feel even across the miles. And it's disorienting in a way he didn't anticipate. It's uncomfortable in a way that forces presence. It creates a void that demands to be acknowledged. It forces him to confront what he's been avoiding, his own feelings, his own fears, his own truth about what this connection means and what he's running from. Because as long as you were chasing, he could run, and the running felt justified, felt necessary, felt like self-preservation. As long as you were waiting, he could delay, he could tell himself not yet, he could kick the can of decision down the road indefinitely. As long as you were making the connection the center of your world, the sun around which all your planets orbited, he could keep it at the periphery of his. He could maintain the illusion that it wasn't that important, that he had all the time in the world, that your devotion would always be there waiting whenever he decided to claim it. But when you withdraw that energy, when you redirect it back to yourself like a river changing course, flowing toward your own ocean instead of his, he loses his reference point. He loses the familiar dynamic that, even though it was painful, was at least predictable. He loses the role he's been playing, the script he's been reading from. And in that loss, something new becomes possible. A space opens up. A silence descends that's pregnant with potential. He has to feel his own feelings instead of reacting to yours. He has to face his own truth instead of hiding behind your intensity. He has to decide from a place of genuine choice rather than reaction, from a place of authentic desire rather than obligation or pressure or guilt, what he actually wants. Not what he thinks he should want, not what would make him look good or feel safe or avoid confrontation, but what his soul genuinely desires. And this is when the real transformation happens, when the alchemy truly begins. This is when the runner begins to become the lover, when the one who fled starts to turn around, when the energy of pursuit transforms into the energy of conscious choice. This is when the fear begins to transmute into courage, when the terror that drove him away starts to metabolize into the bravery required to stay, to show up, to be seen. This is when the walls begin to soften into bridges, when the defenses that felt like survival start to reveal themselves as prisons, when protection becomes connection. Not overnight, because real transformation never happens in an instant despite what we wish. Not in a straight line, because healing is spiral and messy and full of advances and retreats. But gradually, inevitably, with the patience of nature itself, the truth wins. The love wins. The soul contract, the agreement made before bodies and time and fear, wins. Because it was always stronger than the fear, even when the fear seemed insurmountable. It was always deeper than the wounds, even when the wounds seemed bottomless. It was always more real than the stories he told himself to justify the running, more real than every rationalization, every excuse, every logical reason his mind constructed to explain why he had to stay away. So where does this leave you? Right here, right now, in this precious, powerful, pregnant moment, with a choice that's actually always been available to you. You can continue to wait, to watch the horizon for signs of his ship returning, to wonder if today will be the day everything changes. You can keep your life on hold like a movie paused mid-scene, your heart on pause like a song that never reaches the chorus, your energy focused on his journey, his healing, his awakening, his timeline, his choices, as if your life is somehow secondary to his process. Or you can choose differently. You can choose something radical and revolutionary, and ultimately more loving than waiting ever was. You can choose to honor the connection by honoring yourself, by treating your own soul with the reverence you've been reserving for him, by recognizing that the connection is honored most when both people are whole, not when one person shrinks to accommodate the other's fear. You can choose to trust the process by trusting your own path, by having faith that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, by believing that every step you take is guided, even when you can't see where the path leads. You can choose to believe in divine timing by making the most of your own divine timing, by recognizing that you have your own appointments with destiny that have nothing to do with him, your own soul curriculum that's calling for your attention, your own divine schedule that's inviting you to step into new levels of your purpose and power. You can choose to embody the love you wish to receive by giving it to yourself first, fully, without reservation, without the caveat that you'll really love yourself once he comes back, without the condition that you'll really choose yourself after he chooses you. But now, completely, with the wholeness of devotion you've been directing outward. This is not giving up on the connection, though your fear will whisper that it is. This is not abandoning the love, though the wounded parts of you will protest. This is giving everything to yourself, pouring into your own cup, filling your own well, tending your own garden with the care and attention you've been directing toward his growth. And in that giving, in that radical self-devotion, you create the conditions for real union to occur. Because union cannot happen between two half-people looking to each other for completion, two incomplete beings trying to make a whole by merging their wounds. Union happens between two whole people choosing to share their wholeness, two complete beings deciding to create something even more beautiful by bringing their fullness together. And you cannot wait for him to become whole before you claim your own wholeness. You cannot put your healing on hold until he's ready to heal. You cannot delay your ascension, your rising, your becoming until he's ready to ascend with you. Your journey is yours, given to you by the universe, designed specifically for your soul's evolution. His journey is his, with its own lessons and timing and divine orchestration. And the most loving thing you can do for both of you, the most honoring thing, the most truthful thing, is to walk your path with full presence, full commitment, full devotion to your own becoming, trusting that if you're meant to walk together eventually, your paths will converge at the right time, in the right way, when you're both ready. The runner cannot run forever because the soul always wins in the end, because truth is more powerful than fear, because love is more persistent than resistance. The truth always surfaces, like a beach ball held underwater that must eventually burst through to the air. The love always finds a way, like water that flows around every obstacle, that carves through stone with patient persistence. But the timeline is not yours to control, no matter how much you wish it were. The journey is not yours to force, no matter how clearly you can see what needs to happen. The awakening is not yours to manufacture, no matter how many breadcrumbs you leave or how perfectly you position yourself. What is yours is your own life, this one precious existence you've been given. Your own healing, your own wounds that are asking for your attention, your own shadows that are ready to be integrated, your own joy, your own laughter, your own pleasure, your own delight in being alive, your own purpose, your own gifts, your own contribution to the world that's waiting for you to claim it, your own becoming, your own evolution, your own transformation into the highest version of yourself. And when you claim that fully, without apology or hesitation, when you live that boldly, with courage and commitment and unwavering dedication, when you embody that completely, in every cell and every choice and every moment, you become a beacon that shines across dimensions. You become a frequency that broadcasts on channels the conscious mind cannot tune into. You become an invitation so powerful, so magnetic, so irresistible that the universe itself conspires to answer it, that reality reorganizes itself around your vibration. He may return tomorrow, walking back into your life with newfound awareness and readiness. He may return in a year, after his own journey has taken him through the fires of transformation. He may return in a way you never expected, through a chance encounter or a synchronicity so perfect it takes your breath away. Or the universe may have something even more beautiful waiting for you, something your current perspective cannot perceive, someone whose readiness matches yours, a love that doesn't require years of waiting and wondering, a connection that flows with ease because both people are truly ready. But regardless of the outcome, regardless of whether this story ends in reunion or redirection, regardless of the timing, regardless of how this specific chapter closes, and what the next one brings, regardless of how this particular connection unfolds in the physical realm, you will be whole. You will be sovereign, standing in your own power, queen of your own kingdom. You will be free, liberated from the prison of waiting, released from the torture of wondering, unbound from the cage of making your happiness conditional on someone else's choices. And that freedom is the real union, the integration you've been seeking. That wholeness is the real goal, the treasure at the end of the quest. That sovereignty is the real love story, the romance between you and your own soul. So, beloved, let this be your reminder, your wake-up call, your permission slip, your invitation. You are not just the one who waits by the shore for ships that may never come. You are not just the one who loves with a devotion that exhausts you. You are not just the one who holds the vision while life passes you by. You are the temple, the sacred space where miracles happen, where divine energy flows, where transformation occurs. You are the frequency, the vibration of love itself, the resonance that calls forth matching energies. You are the embodiment of divine love itself, love made flesh, love walking on the earth, love breathing and living and creating. And whether he ever recognizes that or not, whether his eyes ever open to see what's standing before him, whether he ever returns or not, whether his journey brings him back to your door, whether this connection ever manifests in physical union or not, whether you ever get the reunion you've been praying for, you are complete. You are whole. You are enough exactly as you are right now in this moment. The runner cannot run forever, but you do not have to wait forever. You can start living now, today, this moment. You can start choosing now, making decisions based on what you want rather than what might bring him back. You can start embodying the love now, being the thing you wish to receive, becoming the energy you want to attract. Union begins with you. It always has from the very beginning. It always will in every moment going forward. And the moment you truly understand that, when it clicks not just in your mind but in your bones, the moment you truly embody that, when you live it rather, then just think it, everything changes. Not because you've manipulated the outcome or used spiritual tactics to force his return, but because you've aligned with the truth, with reality, with the way love actually works. And truth, beloved, truth is the most powerful force in the universe, more powerful than fear, stronger than resistance, more persistent than avoidance. It cannot be denied forever. It cannot be run from indefinitely, no matter how fast or how far he goes. It will have its way. It will prevail. And when it does, when the running finally stops and the truth finally lands and he finally sees clearly, you will be ready. Not because you waited, putting your life on pause for his awakening, but because you became, because you transformed, because you claimed your wholeness, because you did the work, because you chose yourself, because you lived fully regardless of his choices. Ask yourself one final time, am I living as the one who waits, or am I living as the one who already knows? Because the moment you choose the latter, everything shifts. Because union begins with her. Tell me in the comments, have you felt this shift when you stopped focusing on his journey and started honoring your own? What changed in the connection when you changed in yourself? Your insight may be the medicine another soul needs today.